Today, we're going to talk in this video about voice transformation. Voice transformation, we're seeing a big evolution from on-premise to a hosted voice solution in the cloud. And, why is that? Well, a lot of today's voice for businesses are either in a PBX, where they have antiquated equipment, both for their desk and in server rooms that require maintenance contracts and whatnot. They may have a VoIP that's being used on their existing data, voice over IP, that is really only be able to used in those offices, as well as they may have POTS, right? Plain old telephone service that really can't be used when, the pandemic hit with COVID. We had a lot of workers all moved to remote, environments, and they couldn't use their voice solution, while at home in a simple way. And so what we're seeing a lot of businesses do now is moving to UCaaS, or a hosted voice solution, so that they have seamless and very easy, capabilities of a UCaaS solution.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. And I think one of the big things is the functionalities is just not there when you have an on-site PBX. You either have to go on-site to manage it, remotely log in, and usually a lot of the remote functionalities isn't there. Whereas with UCaaS and hosted PBXs, it's all built with the intention of having essentially dumb endpoints with apps, and you log into it. You never have to manage the equipment because it's all hosted in somebody else's computer.
Another huge benefit around going from premise to hosted voice is the expense you have with, voice on premise, right? You have those PBX systems, the maintenance contracts, all that antiquated equipment is very expensive from a CapEx and an OpEx perspective. And when you move to a UCaaS, it really lowers your CapEx and OpEx cost perspective.
Yeah, a lot of UCaaS or hosted UCaaS solutions are OpEx based, where you pay for a subscription, and the benefit of having that subscription versus the upfront cost is that when new features come out, when new functionalities come out with the platform, those updates are pushed over the air, and you get access to those new features immediately. Versus an on-prem solution, the way it works is you have a maintenance contract, and annually or quarterly, you'll have somebody who comes out and installs, updates servers, update firmware, software, and that's how you get those new functionalities. But you'll always have somebody in-house who will have to manage that phone system. If somebody is, around the server closet and has a cup of coffee and spills that cup of coffee on the PBX, on the phone system, you're done. And there's really nothing you can do about it except buy a new PBX. Whereas if somebody spills coffee at the data center where your hosted solution lies, then that's not your problem. And the great thing with a lot of these hosted PBX solutions is there are redundant data centers where if one goes down, there are others that you could fall back on, and so your phone system will never go down in the traditional sense.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It may not just be a cup of coffee in the server room, but it could be a disgruntled employee, or even a cybersecurity attack, that you now have to worry about on-prem. When it's in the cloud, you don't have to worry about it because somebody else is managing that. And so the benefit that you're going to get is you don't have to manage all of that, the server equipment, the maintenance contracts, the handsets, in your offices. The great thing about going to UCaaS, or unified communications as a service, is all you need is a handset and an internet connection, right? And you basically have hosted voice. But the great thing on top of that is not only do you have a handset, but you can do it from your computer, or you can do it from a mobile device, both with an app. And so your flexibility is you don't have to be tied to your office. You can be anywhere in the world, and your phone number will follow you Not only will your phone number follow you from a voice perspective and a voicemail perspective and an IVR perspective, it'll follow you from a text perspective as well as a fax perspective where you can receive and make outgoing faxes using UCaaS. Number one question people have is why haven't they already moved from on-premise to a hosted voice solution? We can show you that the cost justification is very simple to go to a hosted voice solution. The long tenor, the most difficult piece of going to a UCaaS solution is the implementation. That is the most difficult because it's that transition you have to make from on-premise to a cloud-hosted solution. And the beautiful thing about that is Spearhead will make that simple. We will handle all the implementation, all the service delivery, and the training, for your folks. We build videos for your folks to make it very simple for them to do the implementation. And that's really our strength. And we've automated all of this so it's really error-free and very simplistic, not only from the initial implementation, but the ongoing support, on a daily and a monthly basis. We're here to support you.
Absolutely. And in terms of implementation, we have a process that makes it very seamless. The biggest concern, I think, for most people is that when you migrate, there's the porting of phone numbers, there's the potential for downtime and interruption to productivity or business as usual. We've gotten the process down to a science where we build everything out. Usually we can get a phone or call flow configuration done within 24 hours, and then the customer would be able to start testing their phone service to make sure it works the way they want. And then we'll schedule a port date to essentially migrate their numbers on a specific date. We handle training for the end users, tell them what to expect, and on the day of the port, their old phones stop working and their new phones start, and that's it.
Yeah, and we've also done some very creative ways of helping customers when they do that port, right? Because when we place the order, we do it in automated fashion to place the device order, build the IVR, E911 verification, and send the port. So we do all of that in an automated fashion. But I think the creativity is because wireline porting is much different than wireless in that it can take 72 hours and there may be errors. It's not like wireless where it's almost instantaneous. We've gotten very creative, and we can, if you want new numbers, it makes it very simple. If you need to keep the same direct dial numbers, no problem. We just initiate the ports, but we can start with a new number and just call forward that number until the porting has been basically completed from the carrier you're on today. So we can really help you build a plan for implementation to make it very seamless. And again, we control all of that, and so you don't have to worry because we've done this, almost 10,000 times.